I would like to begin by acknowledging that StFX is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the Treaties of Peace and Friendship, which the Mi'kmaq and Maliseet peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1725. Gender and sexual variance has a long-standing history and is found consistently across many Indigenous communities, tribes, regions, and nations. Before colonization, Indigenous people were more fluid in their sexuality and gender, and as a treaty people, it is our obligation to recognize the role of gender and sexuality in the dismantling of oppressive systems, as well as our collective efforts towards decolonization. My name is Amy, and I'm the Gender and Sexual Diversity Advisor at StFX. I want to welcome everyone to the Pride Vigil this evening, and thank you all for attending. I invite you all to participate at your own comfort level during the vigil. I want everyone to feel safe. I want everyone to feel welcome and find meaning in what you're going to hear this evening. Each year we hold 2 vigils. The first vigil we hold is in November, on November 20th. It is the Trans Day of Remembrance. This is a time where we come together to remember and acknowledge our trans siblings who've lost their life in that year. This Pride Vigil is held during Pride Month, generally near the beginning of the month. We hold this vigil to remember, to reflect, and to celebrate our community, and to develop an understanding about why we actually celebrate Pride. When I began preparations for this Pride Vigil, I was asked, what is a vigil? What do you do? What is it for? And while I knew in my heart what it was, I had a hard time putting it into words. So how I explained it was, a vigil is an assembly of people. They come together with like mind and like values, and they show support for a specific cause. These causes are normally a showing of support for a specific group of people and or remembering people who've passed on. Some people see vigils as a religious ceremony and others don't. So as you listen to our speakers this evening, take time to reflect. Your own uniqueness and individuality will dictate what a vigil means for you. We owe this celebration of pride to those who came before us and started this fight for freedom and liberation in the beginning. Those who fought for our right to exist, fought for our right to be visible, and the right for equality. Tonight we come together to acknowledge those people and events, acknowledge the work that still needs to be done, and what our part is in that work. I'd like to thank each person who was able to submit a video for this event. You may be asking why we are doing recorded messages instead of live speeches. Well, we are scattered all over the globe at this point and in various time zones, so it's been very challenging for us all to come together in the same time, in the same place. So I've asked those people to record messages so that they are able to participate in these very important events. At the end of our videos, we'll come back to the live Zoom event. Myself and others will be there to provide support to the community, to provide information if people have questions, and just to be together as community. So again, on behalf of my office and on behalf of the X Pride Executive, I would like to thank each of you for attending this evening. Thank you.
Hi folks. I want to take this moment to say thank you and appreciate those who have passed on. Thank you to the people, the trailblazers, who came and fought first. Thank you to those who were the first to raise their voices. Thank you to all the souls who have led the way. It is not only for them, but because of them, that we are able to join today to honor and remember them. With all of our love, let us hold a space of love, appreciation, and remembrance. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Shania. I'm one of the co-treasurers for X Pride, and I would like to say a couple of supportive words for the vigil tonight for the transgender community. As a member of the Pride community on an international level, I understand how tough and invalidating it can be to simply be oneself. I have seen it. I have seen hatred fueled by misguided religious pretexts and outright ignorance. You've felt it, and as a collective, we understand the never-ending struggle to have to convince such validation to a stranger, a friend, a family member, or an ally who can't seem to detach sexual orientation from the need to be who you are, a transgender person, a human. You are you, and that is valid. Thus, I, along with those at X Pride, will continue to vow to honor, support, and listen to your human need of acceptance. Thank you to those who have paved the way to afford comfortability to those who are seeking to be who they are, and thank you for those who are continuing to brave the fight today. All is love, much love, and love is one. Thank you.
Happy Pride Month, everyone. Now, normally we have really super fun events and they're just a blast, but sometimes we need to have really, really important events like this vigil, because it's still really important to recognize the amount of violence and discrimination that the queer community experiences, particularly racialized queer communities, disabled queer communities. It's really important that we recognize that, and that's why this vigil is so important. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out and to support the community and to support all those who have been victims of homophobia and racialized violence and ableist violence, and just everyone who's been a victim of violence towards the queer community. So thank you again for coming, and I know this is a really hard day for everyone. It is for me, and I just want to thank everyone again for coming, and I hope to see you at future events. So thank you, and happy Pride Month.
Hello, my name is Robert Chardon. I'm a former president of X Pride, and I want to start off by thank you for coming to this event. When I was asked to speak, I kept on thinking about what does the Pride Vigil mean to me, and what I kept seeing as I was thinking about it were people sharing about the conversion therapy ban that happened not too long ago. And I was just thinking about how powerful and painful some of our institutions can be, and how that has cost us so many lives, where people think that they do not belong and are already told they don't belong inside our religions. And that's close to home for me too. Growing up, I was always told that I was an abomination and that it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And the limitations on gender and sexuality really put a chokehold on my place in religion. And it put a chokehold on a place of so many others. One of my founding memories of when I realized I was gay was my parents quoting the scriptures of abomination, and someone who was a young teenager who took his life because he was gay. And my parents talking about in the car and talking about how, there could have been a way for him to overcome his gayness and live his life. And although conversion therapy is now banned, I think the remnants of it still exist, and still exist inside some of our institutions. And in my meditations today, I was thinking about, this is a time to celebrate, but the work's not done yet. And I think that we can't become complacent in where like how far we've come, because there are still kids in rural communities like mine that are being told that they are wrong, being told that they are not enough, being told that they're an abomination. And it's coming from loved ones. It's coming from people who are powerful in their lives. And we have to realize that people are continuously dying from these things. And although they can't make camps out of it, there are still people in these churches who are still saying these things. And so this time when I was thinking about the Pride Vigil, I was just thinking about people who are no longer with us, or who are so emotionally and traumatically broken that they carry this huge burden with them because religion couldn't grow and adapt to have places for people like me and like you and so many others. And it's just really difficult because I want to be so celebratory of these momentous events, but I can't help but think about how many people we've lost. And that is difficult, but I think what it means is that we have to press on. We have to continue these fights. We have to make sure we don't give way on these little issues, because we're not equal until all of us are equal. And we have to make sure that we are there for those who might be in these vulnerable situations. So in my moment of silence, I want to acknowledge all the trans, queer people who have experienced so much violence from the church and so much violence from other institutions, who couldn't see their beauty, who couldn't see their amazing intelligence, their incredible sense of personality, and their resilience. So in this moment, I want to honor all those people.
I'd like to start just by thanking Amy McDonald and Henderson Cartwright for inviting me to say some words at this vigil. And I've been thinking quite a bit about what do you say for a vigil, and I guess this is it. And I want to begin by saying that vigils are events of commitment to community, and this commitment to community has always lived at the heart of X Pride and everything that X Pride does and has done. The commitment to community means recognizing, accepting, and defending the diversity that characterizes 2SIA GLBTQ people. We aren't a monolith, other than the fact that we are still persecuted and still face violence because of who we are and who we love. Even in these times, when living in Canada is supposed to mean that we are full and equal citizens, but we are not, and we still have to fight to survive. Commitment to the diversity of our community also means a commitment to the full liberation for all of us. There is no pride for some of us without the liberation of all of us. In that struggle for our complete liberation, we also need to remember and honor all of our queer family who have fallen or who have suffered over the course of the past year. We survive in a time of pandemic which has punished the lives of many queer people by worsening issues like homelessness, unemployment, and poverty. So let us commit to our community by remembering those who have suffered and fallen, who have sacrificed, and by building anew for the world that they hoped that they could live in. We survive in a time of hatred and oppression which has fueled the rise of racism, misogyny, settler colonialism, xenophobia, transphobia, and homophobia. All of these injustices afflict members of the 2SIA GLBTQ community everywhere, including here in Antigonish and at StFX. So let us commit to our community by resisting all forms of hatred and oppression and building a better world. We thrive in a world of love and solidarity, which will allow us to see past those injustices and difficulties, and we must celebrate the beauty that we see in each other. This is the material, the sacrifices of those we've lost, the beauty of our surviving community with which we will create, eventually, a rainbow world of all. We remember in this vigil. We remember, and we will win. Thank you very much. Happy Pride to everybody.